Hey up, it's Steve from the old Yorkshire Geek, and it's time to review the season finale, episode 10 of season 1 of Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, and it's a decent finale. A bit slow at the beginning, but it builds up to a nice, a nice climax and a satisfying season finale with a nice cliffhanger. So this one's called Beyond Logic, directed by Andy Goddard, who we found out last week is not Drew Goddard, but never mind. Right, so let's just get on with it, shall we? And then we can go through it. Right, I don't know what I'm talking about. Here we go, there it is. Right, so off we go. If it lets us. Oh, there we go. Right, so again, remember the end of the last episode, we saw Keiko Randa was still alive in the Titan realm, which we learned that she called it Axis Mundi, which was the title of last week's episode. She calls this world Axis Mundi. She's found Kate. Remember, she saved Kate from that creature, that wild boar type Titan monster thing. So they've got to go and find. She's asking who she is and all. She's not telling us she's a granddaughter and all that yet. They've got to go find the others, which they do eventually. But then we get the titles. Blah 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 blah. Off we go. Right, Tokyo. We're in Hiroshi Randa's office with Ken. Remember, he just found out they think Kate's dead, and May and Lee, because they saw them fall, didn't they? So they think they're dead. So he's trying to have a reconciliation, but Kentaro, well, it's nothing to do with it. Blah de blah de blah. I said this bit. There's a lot of this at the beginning of this episode where they're all trying to come to terms with each other, and some of people are not wanting anything to do. Like Ken doesn't want anything to do with his dad. He wants to know essentially why did he have two families? Why did he have a family in San Francisco? Why did he have a family in Tokyo? It's not really answered, to be honest. I think he just happened to fall in love with two women on the other side of the world. I thought, well, the world's apart, so sod it. I'll marry them both. But anyway, he asks Ken, Kentaro, if he'll go with him and help save the world and all that, but obviously he doesn't want to. Yet, back in Axis Mundi, they're still together. May appears, there she is, May appears, so she realises May's alive and Lee's still alive. Lee calls out to Keiko, but he's not showing himself yet. He's hiding behind a tree, and she says his voice sounds different. He says, well, it's still me. And then he asks her, how long do you think you've been here? She says, by my calculations, 57 days. But we know she's been down there 60-something years, hasn't she? So then he finally comes out, and then realise that, time works differently. She explains it's like the gravitational effects and stuff that alters time. He was just down there for, he thinks, about a week or so, and 20 years passed on Earth. I don't know how long they're down here now. Maybe a day, a couple of days, maybe. Don't really know. It doesn't really say, but it's not as long. So when they get back, spoilers at the end, they do get back. When they do get back at the end, not as long has passed. Not as long as I thought, to be honest. I thought more time might have passed, but anyway, never mind. So there's lots of tears and stuff. I was actually, getting a bit emotional, particularly when this bit where Kate says she's a granddaughter, and I was like, because I'm a big soft bugger. But so there she knows she's got family. Because she'd found out that Bill Randa had died. He died in 1974, didn't he? Or whenever it was. On Skull Island. Here's Tim at Monarch HQ. And remember, they found a signal from the other realm. They used to call it the Inner Earth, didn't they? In what were it? Godzilla vs. Kong. It was the Inner Earth, but they've kind of changed it now to another realm. Which is fair enough. And he wants to know what they're going to do. Obviously, somebody's sending this signal, and he's thinking it's probably Lee, Shaw, and the others. But the boss, whose name I can never remember, the boss of Monarch, is more interested in closing down. It's showing here all the gamma emissions from all the portals over the world, and they're trying to stop what's going on. Stop Titans coming through and ravaging the surface of the Earth. So she gives him an ultimatum, take a chair, do your job, or, you know, you're out of here. So he makes a choice. Right, back at Axis Mundi, we find Keiko's camp, and here's the Dr. Suzuki's Titan lurer, whatever it's called. The one that emits, you know, signals that attract Titans. So Lee says, well, that's our way out of here. So they've got to haul this to where Lee's capsule arrived. Remember, Lee were there in 1962. He were there for a week and came back 20 years later, and his capsule's still there. But all his crew died, remember, when the Titan attacked. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to lug that. Meanwhile, it's backwards and forwards, isn't it? Back in Tokyo, this is Hiroshi gathering his things, and his wife, I can't remember his wife's name, sorry, his Japanese wife, asks him what's he going to do. He's going to go to San Francisco to deal with the divorce, and I presume he's talking about the divorce from his American wife, Tamlin, is it Tamlin Tomita? I think it's Tamlin Tomita. I can't remember who his American wife's played by. Her, anyway. So I presume he's getting divorced from her, but then we learn she's obviously still fond of him, but she, like, you know, confronts him, not angrily. She confronts him and basically gives her wedding ring to him. She says, you know, Kentaro still needs to have a relationship with his father, but she gives him her wedding ring, so showing that he's lost both of his wives now because of, you know, what he's done. But anyway, there you go. Your son deserves a relationship with his father, and gives him the wedding ring. I'm just going to show it here, is it? Never mind. So that's what happens there. So he's lost both his wives. Meanwhile, back in Axis Mundi, they're lugging the whatever it is to Lee's capsule. Don't know how far it is. It looks quite a way. So I'm guessing maybe it took them quite a long time. You know, a day maybe. But they're getting there. Ken's at a bar having a drink and is drawing a pretty accurate world. Is it going to show it? No, it's not showing it, is it? A pretty accurate world map, if it shows us. You know, freehand. The scale's pretty good, isn't it? Good enough for him to be drawing lines on it. But I think he's trying to remember remember his dad had a map in his San Francisco office. I think he's trying to remember that the points of entry to the Titan realm. But it's not working for him. But then Tim arrives. He has a little think. He's thinking about when he met May. Then Tim arrives, and we learn that Tim's quit his job at Monarch, but he's got a file about the the signals that they've been receiving and stuff. That are, you know, a proper signal, an artificial signal that they're receiving. So he's asking for Kentaro's help, and Kentaro says, "Well, I don't know what to do." But he says, "Well, your dad might." And obviously, he knows where his dad is. His dad's gone back to San Francisco. Meanwhile, in the on Axis Mundi, or in Axis Mundi, or whatever you want to call it, we learn it's kind of a weird middle place. I don't know how well, she calls it Axis Mundi, but it's like some parts of it are like Earth, and some parts of it are like where they're from, their world. So it's like some, I don't know, like waiting area, purgatory or something. Maybe there's another way to get to what we saw in Godzilla vs. Kong. I don't know, but anyway, it's all over my pay grade. But they're having a little reminisce, blah blah blah, and so it's all very nice. And then, he's telling her basically, you know, she's just like he remembered her, and she says, "Well, I used to talk to you and Bill, you know, you as you were." You know, and all that. She's only been there 57 days, but never mind. Right, this is Hiroshi's office in San Francisco. He's watching the films, or well, you can tell it's from film, and it's been digitised. He's watching it of his dad, Bill Randa, the John Goodman version, just before he died on Skull Island. But then Tim arrives along with Kentaro, and they show him their data. So they're going to work out. At first, he doesn't want to know. He's rejected. He said, "There's no way back. You know, just accept that they're dead, and and all that. But they're talking round, so he says he doesn't know, but he thinks he might know somebody else who would know what to do. Meanwhile, they're lugging away. Then we get to see where they're headed for. Headed for that area there. Is that the is that the capsule? Looks like it, doesn't it? That's where they're heading. Quite a bit of a stroll to go, but they do get there in some studio. It's obviously a studio. It's very Star Trek, isn't it? Obviously a studio, but they get there. So they say, "What's that?" It says, "That's our ticket out of here." So they've got to link it up to the device, the Titan lure device, whatever it is, and they've got to link it up. And he's amazed that everything still works after 60 odd years. And she says, "Well, it's only been here a few weeks, you know, in Axis Mundi time." He says, "Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me, Doc." So they link it all up and they get back in. She says she's not going to go. She's going to stay in Axis Mundi because she doesn't want to go and ruin. She's lost Bill. She doesn't want to go back and ruin Hiroshi's life again. But the talk around, she goes in. She gets in the capsule, or bathysphere, whatever you want to call it. So they're all getting ready. They're waiting for a Titan to arrive, and then they're going to basically go in its... It opens a portal with the Titan when it comes, and then they're going to go in its like its wake or whatever. It's not entirely explained, not to my satisfaction anyway. It's magic. It's magic, innit? But anyway, a Titan comes. This is called the Iron Dragon. Yes, I did have to look it up, but there it is. Called an Ion Dragon. Not iron as in the metal, ion as in the particle, ion. I-O-N. That arrives and starts causing mayhem, and it hits the whatchamacallit, the Titan lure thing, and it disconnects one of the cables. So he gets out. There's Lee, and he does like a Doc Brown from Back to the Future. He's got to plug it back in, but he can't 'cause it's too far. You know, it's been moved as the thing, so he's got to push it back and do it. Like I say, it's like Doc Brown at the end of Back to the Future. But see that the Ion Dragon's there. So look, lightning's about to strike the clock tower and everything. Then another Titan's coming through, just as the Ion Dragon is about to get him. Here we go. A familiar Titan arrives. It's the best bit of the series, to be honest. There we go. He's here, Big G. Godzilla's arrived. So he has a fight. Not a very long fight. A bit disappointing, but he has a fight with the Ion Dragon. Makes short work of it. There you go. So they're having a good old bash. I like this bit where we see Godzilla's about to, you know, his scales are starting to light up, but the Iron Dragon's like just a bit too fast for him and gets him with whatever that is. It's venom or whatever. I don't know what it is. It's cool, but Godzilla retaliates. They haven't said they're having a bit of a fight. And so the portal's opened. You can see they're all swirling. So they've got to get back in. It's heading for it now. It's getting pulled into the portal. So it's got to run after the bathysphere. That's what I'm going to call it from now on. And jump at it like Doug McClure would. And she grabs hold of him, does Keiko. They're holding on to Keiko on the inside. So in they go. But he can't hold on, can Lee, so he lets go and falls to we presume to his death. I bet he's not dead. He'll be fine. But anyway, there he goes. Off he goes. Basically says goodbye, Keiko, etc. You know, this is what he wants. He's happy now that she's alive. She can live. There you go, and he does that. There we go. So... There he goes. I reckon he's still around. Anyway, so we see the... where is it? It's there. Look, it's there. You can just see it there. The bathysphere heading for the vortex. So they pull her back in, and Kate May says, "Strap yourself in." Because it's just like Flash Gordon. I wonder if they've got a red pedal just to press down. Anyway, in they go. In they go to the vortex. And suddenly they say... We arrive at wherever this is. There's some technological equipment about and a big white triangle painted in the ground. And there we go. The bathysphere appears. So they're back home, and they get out, and people bundle them into a hangar. There goes a helicopter, and Kentaro's there along with Hiroshi and the other woman whose name I can't remember, but she works for that Apex. And we learn it's 2017, so only 2 years have passed. I'm a bit disappointed, to be honest. I thought it'd bring us bang up to date, but it doesn't. It brings us up to Godzilla. Is it? I don't know. When did Godzilla versus Kong happen, or is this? Are we up to King Kong versus Godzilla versus King Kong film? I can't remember what year they were in. I think it's not the Godzilla King of the Monsters. That's what I'm thinking of. I think it's. I think we're up to that time now. That film, which I didn't like. But anyway, so it's 2017, and we learned that an Apex facility, and so anyway, so he's reunited with his mother. I were crying again, wiping away tears, because I'm a big softie. They're reunited. Families and stuff always get me going. For All Mankind ended as well this week, and that's all about families, and that set me off as well. Sorry, my cat interrupted. So we learned that in 2017. I can't remember her name. She's in The Expanse, isn't she? She's May's friend, isn't she? We saw her a few episodes ago, right at the beginning of the season. So anyway, an alarm goes off, or a siren, or whatever goes off, klaxon. So they've got to get out of the way, they've got to get in, they're all running in, they wonder what's going on, and then we learn where they are. Hang on, show us. As the doors close. Why is it slowed down? Have I pressed the wrong button? I've done something and I don't know what I've done. Oh, what have I pressed there? Don't know. I'm pressing buttons and I don't know what's happening. Never mind. It's slowed down, I don't know why. I want to show you. There we go. They're in the Apex Skull Island Research Facility, State Station, whatever. So they're on Skull Island. And then we cut to whatever's arriving. Here it is. There he is. Good old Kong arrives. Big K. We've had Big G. Now we've end on Big K. Kong arrives. So there we go. And that's how it ends, with him roaring. Boom. There we go. That's it. A very satisfying ending. A bit of a drag getting there. But once Godzilla showed up and it fought the Iron Dragon and all the excitement happened, and Kong at the end, that were worth it. It were worth the wait. So I really enjoyed that last episode. I'll leave it on that, because that's a cool shot. So there we go. All in all, I quite enjoyed the series. Obviously, it's ended on a cliffhanger. Fingers crossed we'll get a season 2. As I said, I think we're up to Godzilla King of the Monsters time now, aren't we? I think by the time we get to Godzilla vs. Kong, they'd put a dome over Skull Island, hadn't they, or something like that. Or had they moved him somewhere, made him think he were on Skull Island. I can't remember. I've only seen it once. But that's yet to happen. They're still on Skull Island at the moment. But I enjoyed it. The massive slump in the middle where it got really bad. Properly, 3 out of 10 bad. But it's recovered. And this episode, I don't know what score to give it. Because it was pretty boring for like the first 3/4 of it. But for the last part, it was worth it. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I think I gave last week's 8.5, didn't I, out of 10? So I'll give this one an 8. Just for the Godzilla fight and Kong showing up at the end. So like I said, it's worth watching is the series. And like I said, the effects are great. When you finally do see monsters, which is what we want. So there we go. So we'll leave it there. That's it. Worth watching. Give it a whirl. It's a lot of fun. It's on Apple TV, and while you're at it, you can now binge For All Mankind. You can binge this, and you can binge For All Mankind as well, which in my opinion is better than Monarch. But I haven't been doing reviews for All Mankind for some reason. I don't know why. I just had to pick one or the other, so I picked this. Right, so we'll leave it there. Looking forward to Season 2. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Season 2 being announced. Let's have a look. Before we go. See if it says anything about Season 2. Right, okay, so we don't know. There's going to be a Season 2. There's no news on that yet, but we'll just have to wait and see with us. Fingers crossed, because I want to see one now. I want to see Season 2 now. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Right, we'll leave it there. So, thanks for watching. Wherever you are, look after each other, and until next time, I'll say